So welcome back to Logical Education. In this video, we are going to start with our Biology Chapter 6, How Do Organisms Reproduce. So before seeing the video, please like, share and subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for our latest updates. So what I have drawn here is structure of a flower. In this video, we are going to start how a plant reproduces, how pollination occurs, how pollen grain or fertilization takes place in plants. So it is very important to learn the structure, diagram and labeling of a plant or of a flower. So yeah, this is the easiest diagram of a flower that has been drawn by me here. So the filament here, these are called petals, and these leaf-like structure is called sepal. Then the swollen bottom part of a flower is named as thalamus. Here do you see that this part is the leaf-like structure is called petals, the greenery part, the down part leaves are called sepals, and the swollen bottom part of a flower is called thalamus. Now, what are these? This seed or this structure is apparently called anther. Then it is filament. Togetherly, they both are called stigma. Stigma. I'll give you explanation after labeling the whole diagram of a flower. So after stigma, this part, sorry, this is not stigma actually. It is called stamen. It is stamen. Stamen. And this part, the Y or the V-shaped part, is particularly called stigma. So what about this? This is generally called this part. This is ovary. What do you say is O? Then the other thing, this part is called style, and the next and the last second actually, because this whole diagram really contains a great labeling and an important labeling, because in your 10th final pre-board every exam this question is compulsory, or this question is really carrying a 5, this is a 5 marker question. The question what comes is, generally question that comes is, how do a fruit generate, how do a fruit generate, how do a flower generate, or how do a flower or fruit grow. This is a 5 marker or even sometimes 8 marker question. So as we can see that this ball like structure, embryo sac, and the last, this is ovule. So one by one we are going to study about all of them in detail. Let me erase all of them. So first of all, we are studying what is the stamen. Stamen. We are enlarging that stamen whole part. That is how that stamen is working, or what is the role of anther, what is the role of filament. We are going to study that. So this is what stamen is. This is the male reproductive organ. This we can see that these four like cell-like structures are called, these are called pollen grains. Pollen grains. Then this structure, I've already told you, it is anther. Generally, that question comes in mind: why do a filament is used? This filament is just used to export, in order to just expose this anther part of a flower or of stamen. So these are the use of what is the role of a stamen in a flower is. So what are pollen grains? These are generally, pollen grains are whenever, I have told you that stamen is main reproductive part of a flower. The next thing that comes is what is this is what I have drawn, the pistil part of a flower, that is a female reproductive organ. Generally, this part is what we have seen that. Hmm. So in every flower there are petal-like structure which is used to beautify or make a flower to look beautiful by animals, by insects. So the petal-like structure, which is like this in shape, this part, which is in every flower, it has number of colors, like it is blue, to which in Hindi we say फूलों की पत्तियां, that part of a flower. It is used to beautify or to increase or to look a flower to be just उस फ्लावर को सुंदर बनाने के लिए ये अपने आप को मॉडिफाई करता है. इसीलिए जैसे ही whenever the bee, insect, the flying insects, as soon as possible they sit on this petal, the pollen grains are get stick to their wings, due to which the process which is called cross pollination occurs. We all are known to what is a pollination, but we are not known to what is cross or how cross pollination occurs. Like this, when an insect sits on the on the leaf of the flower or on the petal of the flower, the pollen grains stick to its wing, and whenever that same insect sits on another flower petals, so that the pollen grains are left over the another flower, and how by this process or by this method is generally called cross pollination. So what, there are two types of pollination: cross pollination and self pollination. So cross pollination was this, and what is about self pollination? As soon as the male reproductive organ, the pollen grains from the male reproductive organ are shed off, means these pollen grains are shed off onto the stigma hair, means at this part they fell off. So now it is the choice, or it is, there is again process to choose just a single pollen grain in order to fertilize the stamen, the pistil part. How this fertilization takes place is, there is a test, that is pollen grain test. Pollen grain interface, we can say that, or pollen identity interface. Pollen identity interface. By this test, we can, it is more important in order to choose one of three of them. From these three, this pistil has to choose just one, in which there is a part which is called, stigma hair. This stigma helps in this process which of the pollen grain is better for this ovary or for this egg. So now we'll be coming on how this fertilization takes place. Just here you can see that there are two male gametes, and when one male gamete, that is an haploid cell, will combine with one egg cell, this process N plus N, these N are defining haploid cells. This process is called syngamy. In which what does a syngamy defines as? Syn means synchronization and gamy means marriage. And by the combination of haploid plus haploid, it forms a zygote, which is a diploid cell. Now you can see that from these two male gametes, one we have used. So what the other one is for? The other one is for this polar nuclei. So we have forgot to label this. It is polar nuclei. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is polar nuclei. I'm absolutely correct. It is polar nuclei. This part is called stigma, ovary, ovule, this is what we see is the whole part is called, this is the egg cell. There you can see that, and this. So the first reaction, I'm erasing this diagram so that you can get more clarity about the same. So first was the reaction, or first process that we have seen is one male gamete combines with one egg cell, and by the process called syngamy, and forms zygote, that is a diploid cell. When one haploid cell combines, so a diploid cell is formed in this process, which is called zygote. So there were two male gametes. So what about one? One will react with polar nuclei. When one male gamete plus polar nuclei. Polar nuclei is itself, it is the plural form of a polar nuclei is polar nucleus. but it is singular in its nature because it is polar nuclei, and forms this. So when one male gamete and polar nuclei combines, they form endosperm. Endosperm, which is a triploid. Here, this polar nuclei is a diploid cell, and this male gamete is a haploid cell. So, by combining n plus 2n, it will form 3n, that is triploid cell. So here we have seen that when endosperm and zygote is formed, so what is the role of endosperm in the flower or in the pistil part? Pistil is actually a female reproductive organ. So what does the endosperm do? It protects or it provides nutrients to the zygote. And as soon as the fertilization takes place, the leaves that are sepals, petals are shed off from the flower, and anthers are even shed off with filament. So these were the two reactions that we have learned in this video. Now further we are going to start with Now further we will be studying about the same process, that is this together. I would like to explain now this together, both the processes, when the zygote is formed and when endosperm is formed, this process is continually called double fertilization. So the two methods or two reactions which we have learned was, I am going to revise you the same. When one male gamete, that is N, combines with one egg cell, that is even N, it forms a diploid cell, that is zygote. Another, when one male gamete again combines with polar nuclei, that is diploid cell, it gives triploid cell, 3n, that is endosperm. These both the reactions together are called double fertilization. Double fertilization. See, this is really an important question which carry a 5 marks or even sometimes 8 marker question. In this 2020, when 10th class of every school gave pre-boards, so this question was a 5 marker, which was really one of the important one, and this question is asked in this manner mainly: how do fruit and flower fruit, flower, seed generate? Generate means how they're made. So the explanation that I have told you just before this question was the answer of the same question. Nothing you have to write, and you have to make these two diagrams, write both the equations, and write just this much, that when zygote and endosperm are formed, so this process or by these two, when the formation of zygote and endosperm takes place, this whole process is called double fertilization. It was nothing, and it is really very important to learn the diagram of flower, and I am going to revise you the same diagram right now. Don't learn the diagram given in a book, it is really hard to learn. I'm telling you the easiest way to make a structure of a flower. There's nothing. It is. From increase this, make it matte again, here. Increase this one, here. And making them all meet at a single point. Actually, it is not at all a difficult diagram. It is really an easiest diagram that I'm going to tell you in this video. I'm going to tell, or I'm telling just right now only, man. These two, as you have seen in the diagram, these two are petals. This is what? Petal. Now what I am making is I'm going to make pistil part. Make an Excel. Draw question mark, big question mark. Here, not like this, just this much. The thing is, it is really an easiest diagram. As I am telling you, the most easiest way to make this, because no one is going to tell you this easiest, the more easiest way than this. So here we have made the stem part of a flower. This is what anther, filament, together they both are called stamen, the male reproductive organ. This is Excel. Ovule, ovary. After when zygote is formed, this ovule turns into a seed and this ovary turns up to be a fruit. Sepal. What is this one part is called? Yes, you are right. This is thalamus. You can say it thalamus, anything. But the correct pronunciation of this word is thalamus, or you can say it thalamus even, because it is also not wrong. The next thing in this diagram is here is embryo sac. Embryo sac. Here stigma. See now, this embryo sac, then ovule, not petal, here, erasing here, petal. Correct, you are correct. This is petal only, but still, just a minute. Embryo sac, ovule, stigma, style, ovule. So what is style? Yeah, here is style. When stigma, style and ovule, the three combine and forms female reproductive organ, that is pistil. So here I have erased petal. Here I am going to write it. Petal. So this was the structure of a flower that is going to come in your board exams. So prepare it, and I hope this video is really helpful to you. So please do like, share, and subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for our latest updates. Thank you so much.